What's up, guys? Welcome to Success Mindset Ep.5. Today, I want to talk about the why. Why the why is important. I figured there would be no better time than to talk about this now, since we are pretty much near the new year. I don't know, depending on what time you're watching this, it's either the new year or the new year's a couple of days or a couple of hours away. But anyways, knowing the whys behind why you do what you do, why the whys behind why are you doing what you're doing, why do you want to do what you want to do, and why do you want what you want to have. This is very important. I think it's the thing that keeps a lot of people from really sticking to the things that they say that they want to do. When it's around the time for the New Year's, I think for the most part, the whole New Year's resolution thing has kind of gotten a bad rep, because we are aware that many people make these, promises or start off with these commitments that they don't necessarily stick through. And one of the main ones is the gym one. I think we're all aware of how the gym is at the early point in the year, with many people who start and do not continue within the third, fourth week, or whatever. But anyways, that's the main reason why I really want to outline the whys here, why the whys are important, and how they can really make a difference in people actually sticking to their commitments, through the ups and the downs and everything that comes in between. So without prolonging the time anymore, let's get straight to it. Reason number one, it will help you avoid noise. Knowing your why will help you avoid a lot of noise from other people. A lot of times when you tell people, the things that you want to do, or, something that you're going after, or perhaps this route that you're thinking about doing that's going to help you get, to a goal. A lot of times they will be quick to find what's wrong with your methods or what's wrong with your approach. And that is not to say that, this advice is bad or that you should not listen to it. Actually, I tend to tell people to normally listen to everyone, and usually, well, not listen to everyone, but be open to hearing other people's advice. And it's either a couple things are going to happen. Either they're going to actually tell you something beneficial, or they're going to tell you something that's not so beneficial. And even recognizing that it's not beneficial, even recognizing that it's bad advice, is even beneficial in itself. So, don't be stubborn, or don't be, in a box that you cannot listen to other people, but just be careful with that, because many times people are quickly to tell you why you shouldn't do something, or, perhaps this is what's wrong with what you're doing, which is great things. These are great things, but more valuable is when they are able to tell you, hey, this approach may not be, what you should do, or this approach may have these sort of risk, or this could go wrong. But what I think you should do is this here, or perhaps you should take this approach, or be a little bit skeptical about this, but I believe you can do it. And I like to talk to people like that, people that are not only able to tell you what is wrong with a plan or an approach, but I like to talk to people who actually can come back and say, hey, try this out, or, maybe you should think about this, or factor this in, consider this. And oftentimes that can be a lot more important or a lot more beneficial than just hearing no, or, you shouldn't do this. So, as I said, there will be a lot of noise from people. When you're looking at other people to sort of find advice, or to sort of say, hey, do you think this is possible? Oftentimes you will find that, most of the answers can be negative, or may not be what you're perhaps looking forward to, but you have to sort of stay motivated. You have to sort of stay focused on the end goal, or the end thing that you want to accomplish, the thing that you want to achieve. Because like I said, there's a lot of noise amongst people, and being able to filter through that noise will be very beneficial to you. It will not only help you sort of shun out some of the things that aren't going to benefit you, but at the same time, that will help you stay focused. That will help you keeping your eye on the prize, as they say. And oftentimes that is very important to be able to do. Reason number two. Knowing your why will help you avoid making bad decisions or uninformed decisions. Oftentimes I found that just having the why has forced me to sort of think things through a little bit. What's the potential reward of taking this route? What's the potential risk? How may this benefit me, or how may it harm me? It forces you to sort of, bring some reasoning and logic into the equation. And those things are very important. Many times we make decisions based off of emotions, and this is also important to sort of factor in at times when those can be beneficial to you. But when you're making these decisions based off of heightened senses of emotions, emotions in certain moments, then a lot of times you'll find yourself in a position where you'll regret making a decision. You will hear it often: never make a decision in the moments of anger, or never make a decision in the moments of sadness. Oftentimes when I've been in this position, I have defaulted to not making a decision. If I am not capable of making a decision with sound reasoning and, having put a little thought into it and, perhaps looked into things a little bit further, then I would tend to rather not make the decision at all. And sometimes that can sort of minimize the potential downfall that can result from making those risk decisions. So definitely taking time to sort of learn and time to strategize and think ahead can be very beneficial to you. Just think about how you want things to turn out. Don't try to be a perfectionist. Perfectionism can oftentimes make you spend a lot of time, not wasted time, but it can sort of let time get out of hand. And in life, you can't live life trying to be perfect in everything you do, to try to get everything perfect down to the whatever detail. And it's important to be able to do great work. It's important to be able to have sound plans. Also you can't spend your time planning always, or it's one of those things where you don't want to be so much on any side of the extreme. I'll say that you more so want to be on the perfectionism side rather than just blowing through things. But at the same time, do not waste your time always trying to, perhaps plan an entire year, unless it's something that actually requires that. But, sometimes you simply have to get to a point where you can say, hey, I got to start moving on this. I got to start doing this. I got to start building right now. Because, a lot of times things change really, really quickly. And when you allow that time to kind of get away from you, then you will miss out on, a lot of progress that you could have made. So don't strive for, 100% perfectionism, but at the same time, don't make rushed decisions. So my third, and perhaps one of the most important reasons of having a why, is that it will help keep you motivated. Now, I talked a little bit about this earlier this year, or perhaps a few months ago, on several things that keep me motivated, and I'll actually retouch that video again and sort of reevaluate things. But knowing your why, having a strong why, is so important. And as I may have said before, this is the reason why I believe many people do not continue to execute through their goals, through the things that they said they would do. Having accountability towards yourself is very important. And it's important to be able to have that towards other people. A lot of times when we have someone else that's pushing us, someone else that we're looking to impress, someone else that we're looking to sort of get on their level in a way, then we are able to push ourselves a little bit more. But when it's to ourselves that we have to keep these promises that we've made, or stay on these goals that we said that we would stay on, when we have to do that towards ourselves, we find it a little bit harder, because the self sometimes tell you, you don't have to do this, or I can work on this tomorrow, or it'll be all right, or I didn't really want to do this anyway. We can find so many excuses and so many reasons to give up, so many reasons to not give 100% effort, so many reasons to just move on to something else. And that is the thing that we have to avoid. So really knowing why the thing is important to you, why it's important that you accomplish this, how much meaning does it have to you? These things are very important, and oftentimes they can really be the thing that really pushes you to keep going. So I always say to have perhaps a major life goal, something that's big, something that's very important that you accomplish. And oftentimes I found that when it's something that's selfless, it can, to me at least, it's easier to have selfless goals than to be 100% selfish. Now, as I may have said before, it's very important that you sort of have a mix of both. There's nothing wrong with accumulating things and having experiences that are going to benefit us. And this is exactly what I want to do. There are many experiences that I want to have, many things that I want to have. But my ultimate goal in life is to impact the lives of other people. My ultimate goal is to set systems in place throughout my lifetime that's going to benefit other people, that's going to benefit, young kids wanting to get education, that's going to benefit people who are struggling and, perhaps don't have the education to, to get jobs that can change their lives. Is to benefit people who, perhaps are struggling in their lives financially, and in many ways. And as vague of a goal as that may sound, I haven't specifically expressed the details of, perhaps I want to get this system in place. I want to have this in place here. I haven't necessarily expressed that openly, but the goal has become so ingrained in me now that my mind is sort of always thinking about it. I'm always connected to it. And I may have expressed earlier this year that I have gotten to this point where even my happiness, even my, sense of fulfillment in life is directly tied to this goal. And to live my life always working towards that, to live my life always building towards that, and being able to do these things as I go along, that is what makes the difference in my life, and that is what keeps me motivated. So, this is not to tell you what your goal should be. It is to tell you that if you can have something that can also benefit other people, that can change other people's lives, then it's going to change your life in the process. Many times we look to the things that can sort of make us wealthy, or the things that can bring, a lot of monetary reward back to us. But the ultimate thing to keep in mind is that when you bring value to this world, when you bring value to whatever it is that you're doing, if it's your job, if it's, working for someone else, or perhaps doing your own thing, when you bring value, you will be rewarded for that. And sometimes it may take time to build up. It may take time to build up to that phase, or that point where you can sort of contribute value. But you have to keep working on it. You have to stay motivated. You have to keep building, and don't be so, I guess, deterred by, short term, or perhaps, short term results. So have that major goal in mind. Have that thing in mind that, perhaps your life, that is going to help your life. This year has been, and I guess I can sort of talk a little bit how the year has been for me. This year has been a very transforming year for my life. A few very important things happened. One, I got into this point where I could accept difficulty ahead. And as I may have said before, there are a couple different things that are going to happen next year, potential things that are going to happen, and they are going to change my life in a way. At least looking forward, I believe they will. But those things will not come with ease. And being able to accept that that's going to happen, or that I could potentially get to a point where I could lose everything in life, getting to that point where I could accept that was very important to me. And also something else that happened, this was the year that I actually found my purpose in life. This was the year that I was able to say, hey, this is what I want my life to be dedicated towards. And once I discovered that, each day, each moment of my day, each hour, I'm thinking about how am I going to get there. And that is really one of the major sources of motivation for me. When I think about, the things that I do want to achieve, when I think about the people who are dependent on me for achieving them, and all of a sudden, the question of should I be doing something productive, or the question of should I get out of bed, or should I, go watch this movie versus perhaps reading a book, or perhaps working on a project, or, those questions, the answers come much easier now. As I said before, I've never had a moment perhaps this year that I've been able to say that I was bored. Not when I'm to myself, with other people perhaps, doing nothing at all. But when I am to myself, when I'm in my own space, I've never had a moment that I can say I'm bored, because there's always something to do. I never underestimate how much work is going to take to build what I want to build. But if anything, I will overestimate it. And I will do more than less if I had the choice between the two. So as I said, it's been a very transforming year for me. In many ways, I've had many great experiences. I've done some crazy things and some things that I probably shouldn't have done, some enjoyable things. And overall, it's been a great year. And one of the things that I should probably mention is that sometimes your goals will evolve. I entered this year thinking that, hey, I would probably get a couple speeches under my belt. I entered this year, with that as something that I want to do. But then it wasn't until later that I realized that, hey, I'm not truly connected with what it is that I'm trying to give to people. I'm not truly connected with what sort of value that I'm trying to deliver to people. Sure, I can come with great advice or, great tips or whatever it is. But until, I am truly connected with it, and until I'm truly authentic with it, until I truly believe it, then nobody else is going to believe it. It's not going to benefit anyone else if it doesn't benefit me. So through the process of transforming my own life, I have all of a sudden become connected with these things. And the reason why I share them with you guys is because I truly believe in them. A lot of the things that I say here, I will be falling back on them myself. A lot of the things that I've written, I was actually writing about this yesterday, but a lot of the things that I have written over the course of the past, probably, I've been writing for how long? Probably 7 years. I look back on a lot of that stuff and I can see the sort of transformation that's happened in my life. And I can see I can go back and get benefit from them. It's almost like my past self was writing these messages to myself today. And looking back on those things are sort of reminders, from where I've come from to where I am to, things that I have said before that I needed to hear now. And it's just kind of strange and, funny how that sort of happened. So I also want to mention that it is very important that you reflect on this year. So if you guys can take time, like I said, I don't know when you're going to be watching this. We are 4 or 5 days away from the new year or something along those lines. So it is very important that you take some time to reflect. If you can find a little quiet spot in your home or, can get away, drive away to some quiet area and just sit and think, how has this year been for you? What did you enter this year wanting to achieve? What did you enter this year wanting to accomplish? And, perhaps where are you in comparison to the way you thought you would be? And don't get discouraged by this. As I said before, goals evolve. As you progress and as you grow in life, you will suddenly realize that some things that were important to you before aren't so important to you anymore. Some of those things that weren't important to you, they have become important. So, when you have evolving goals, that is something not to be deterred by. What you don't want to do is you don't want to start things and simply leave them alone because you lost interest, or perhaps leave them alone because things got too difficult. And that is why it's very important to really know what it is that you truly want, what it is that's truly going to bring happiness in your life, truly going to bring fulfillment. And you don't search for these things as in they are going to come tomorrow. You don't search for these things as if you're going to get them tomorrow. It is a process. Wanting to transform your body is a process. You don't get to that point and stop working out. You get to that point and you keep working out. And that is the thing that people have to realize. Happiness, fulfillment is the same way. You do not reach a certain point and stay there. It is a journey that as long as you're alive, that journey is going to be going on. So think about it in that context. What it is that you overall want your life to be dedicated towards, or what it is that you truly want in life, what you truly want to experience in life, what you truly want to accomplish, for others or perhaps for yourself, and use that as your source of motivation. So enter this new year, with these things in mind. Like I said, if you can take time to sort of spend some time away from others and think about how you want this new year to be, then I really encourage you to do that, because it is very important. This sort of meditation or pondering is very, very important. It sort of sets us up for what's to come. So it is very important you do that. Anyways, I hope that you guys have enjoyed. I hope that you had a great 2017 and that your 2018 will be a great year. I also want to take the time to thank you guys who have been sticking around. I know that this sort of content has been a little bit new over the course of the past few months, but it's something that I always want to do. It's something that I've always wanted to sort of get my voice out and share the things that I've learned, because I truly feel that perhaps it can help one or two other people. And some of you guys have been sticking around, some of you guys have been keeping up, and I really appreciate that. So I hope that you'll stick around for more. And until next time, talk to you later.